Dale and Alta Dulaney, my grandparents. I never met anyone who didn't absolutely love them. They were a perfect pair and both filled with love, caring, and kindness. They were also a ton of fun. Grandma had a quick wit and fiery green eyes that sparkled, especially when she was being ornery. Grandpa had a wonderful laugh and joyful personality. He never knew a stranger.
And this was that preacher. He bought a brand new mower. He put it on his trailer and come out here and mowed my yard.
Nice.
And I was bragging on him for that. And here's what he told me. He said, I wanted to pay him, and I said, you can't do that. You can't come out here and buy $5 a gallon gas and mow my yard. I said, oh, that's too much. He says, when someone does something for you, don't deny them that opportunity, or you will steal their blessing. That's what he told me. So that done it. See, I couldn't say no more about it. So that's what he wanted me to do. He wanted to do it, and he felt blessed to be able to do that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he done a really good job.
Their house was my favorite place to visit, and this video gives a glimpse into that. This is when I got my first camcorder back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, Grandma. Oh my goodness sakes. Lisa Ann. I gotta walk away from you. We're gonna hit you. You're on candid camera. Tell her to get out.
Hello.
Hello. No! Janet! Lucille! Why are you so camera shy? I don't know. I am. Stage fright.
Lisa wants that so that she can show all the kids at high school her grandma.
No. And their grandpa. Yeah. Let's face it, we're not in high school as far as
You
being
think
in
it'd be interesting,
the
Lisa?
Sure.
Sure they
And
would.
she's going to sell the tape.
She'll make $3,000.
This is a book I put together back in 2011. I always loved Grandma and Grandpa's stories and their love for each other, so I wanted some way to try to commemorate that. This is the tale of Alta and Dale. Meet Dale, a guy with blue eyes and stories to surprise. As a boy, Dale would hang out with his brothers and sisters. Once they even let a horse in the house. Maybe they weren't always good listeners. When their mother got home, she couldn't believe it. She said, "Oh, my land!" She stuck a stamp on Dale's head to send him away, and off he ran. All of that is a true story.
My grandma's house, it had concrete steps and widenings in the porch. Well, we had been feeding that on the apple. He was running in the yard just crazy.
Yeah.
And he came right up to the porch and it was leaning, an apple. So we just seen how far he'd go. So we just pulled it back a little bit and he'd take up the step. And he pulled back, he'd come up another step. He'd come up on the porch and we thought it'd be funny just to see if he'd go in the house. So we'd see how far he'd go. So we just opened the screen door and the horse just walked in the house and turned around in the front room and started back out, and just as he did, Mom and Dad come around the corner. And Mom seen that horse coming out of the front door. I can see it yet. She threw up her hand in the car. My God, what is happening?
Of course, he came back home later that night. A silly horse in the house wouldn't bring a family to fight. But Fight on the field, Dale surely did, and he became a star football player with a helmet on his lid. He even went off with a scholarship and big plans to make, but being paid with just food made it hard to stay at Drake. From his little room, he would send his laundry back home to Mom in a box, and he didn't have a bit of money, not enough to scrape against 2 rocks. So he went back home and found the love of his life. He said, "She was the prettiest girl I'd ever seen, so I made her my wife." Now, Alta and Dale, they had a few disagreements along the way. Once they had a fight, and Dale gave Alta a bag. He had a game to play. She reached in and found a dog with a note that said, "This is how you're treating me." Next, she reached in and found a baby's rattle with a note that said, "This is how you're acting." Oh, she couldn't believe. Next, she reached in and found a beautiful pair of earrings with a note that said, "This is because I love you." Alta forgave Dale because she loved him too. Dale and Alta spent $12 on a room for their honeymoon at the Statler Inn. They even went to a World Series game where against the Browns and the Cards got a win. Dale and Alta would go on to have 3 kids, Becky, Jan, and Tom. Even though he was the youngest, Tom had worms, and he was the one the girls ran from. Eventually the kids went on and had kids of their own, and those grandkids would hear the stories that would tickle their funny bone. They'd hear about the time Grandpa and his crew went fishing at the lake. And when nothing was caught, they had no dinner, just ketchup to make. They'd hear Grandma read stories like Rikki Tikki Tavi and how Boots befooled the king in his tattered old hat. And once when reading Little Black Sambo, Grandma scared little Ryan. He said, "Grandma, don't do your eyes like that." Grandma loved to play games with the kids like Rummy, Scrabble, and Hide the Thimble. But she'd make you run around the house to burn off energy if you got loud like a cymbal. Both Grandma and Grandpa liked to feed their guests, offering cheese, a Coke, and the candy drawer before they sat. And Grandpa would slam down his glass, womp, toss them strawberry shortcake and say, "Here, put some milk and sugar on that." But the sweetest thing in the house was always their love for one another. They even had a silent way of telling that to each other. 3 hand pats meant "I love you." 2 pats in return, "Me too." They gave it themselves every single day, a love that would be passed on to next generations and would never fade away. And that's the story of 2 lives lived well and a love that would never fail. That's the tale of Alta and Dale.